Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Ritu for you to be there to give you a little more understanding of Toru Dutt's Casuarina tree. As the Indian poetess, Toru Dutt has contributed a lot to the Indian literature. I would like to highlight that she just was 21 years with us on this earth. But the way she has contributed, the way she has given us holds much in the history of English literature. Toru Dutt was born as Toru Lata Dutt on 4th of March 1856, and she left this earth on 30th of August 1877. She was known for She chose to be a poetess over all other occupations in this or professions in this world, and she was known to be as a famous Anglican poet. And all that what she has written, even though with what we read is Indo-Anglican poet, means that she was an Indian born in Kolkata, but then she migrated from India to be in America, and there where she lived the rest of her life, the years that she had lived, and all her work had some theme, Indian theme in it, and she had the Indian background in her, so that makes her special. She talks about her homeland in most of the works that she has produced. She was a natural linguist, so uh, the language came to her, and everything that India holds came to her naturally, and she had a language, she had many languages with her, and I'll be talking to you about the later slides. She had number of two or three works that only could be published when she was alive, but most of the works that Toru Dutt has presented belong to like were published only posthumously, that is after her death. She is known to be the first Indian poetess to write in English, and the languages known by her were Bengali, English, French, and Sanskrit. But she opted to write in English and in French, and her novels also were published posthumously in French, and the first novel in English by an Indian woman writer. Now we come into the actual talk that we need to be doing today, the study on Casuarina tree. These are some of the novels that have been written, some of the works that have been written on Toru Dutt, and some of the works are written by her. So it is a compiled work that has been put in front of you, so that whenever you get a chance you can just refer to these, and it will be a good start to know today, and to again carry on with these references that I have given you today. Casuarina tree. Casuarina tree is a poem that it is a tree that she was so close to in her childhood, and the beauty of the tree definitely is one thing that made her fall for it, but it is something more that she talks about. It is the time spent around the tree, and the way she has explained it goes like this: like a huge python winding round and round the rugged truck intended deep with scars, up to its very summit near the stars. A creepy climbs in whose embraces bond no other tree could live, but gallantly the giant wears the scarf, and the flowers are hung in the crimson clusters all the brows among, whereon all the day are gathered bird and bee, And oft at nights the garden overflows with one sweet song that seems to have no close, sung darkling from our tree, while men repose, when first my casement is wide open through. At dawn my eyes, delighted on it, rest. Sometimes, and most in winter, on its crest a grey baboon sits statue-like alone, watching the sunrise, while on the lower boughs his puny offspring leap about and play. And far and near cocillas hail the day, and to their pastures wend our sleepy cows, and in the shadow of on the broad tank cast by that whole tree so beautiful and vast, the water lily springs like shone a mast. But not because of its magnificence. Dear is the Caserona to my soul. Beneath it we have played, though years may roll. O sweet companions, loved with love intense, for your sakes shall the tree be ever dear. Blend with your images, it shall arise in memory till the hot tears blind mine eyes. What is that dirgy like murmur that I hear, like the sea breaking on a shingle beach? It is the tree's lament and array speech that happily to the unknown land may reach. Unknown yet well known to the eyes of faith. Ah, I have heard that wail far, far away, in distant lands by many a sheltered brae, when slumbered in his cave the water weareth, and the waves gently kissed the classic shore of France or Italy, beneath the moon, when sun lay tranced in a dreamless swoon, and every time the music rose, before mine inner vision rose a form sublime. They form, O tree, as in my happy prime I saw thee in my own loved native clime. Therefore I will would therefore I fain would concentrate a lay unto thy honor, tree beloved of those who now is blessed sleep for a praise, for a repose, dearer than life to me. Alas, where they mayst thou be numbered when my days are done, with dearless trees like those in Bowdale, under whose awful branches lingered pale fear, trembling hope, and death, the skeleton, and time the shadow, and though weak the verse that would thy beauty fame, O fame, rehearse, may love defend thee from oblivion curse. So this is the poem that I read for you. This is the whole poetry, and we'll be further going into stanza wise explanation. Before that, I would like to enlighten you and give you a little more understanding of something that that we should know about the poem. This is the theme and the symbols. The themes that the poet has picked. As I told you earlier, it is the Indian characters, Indian culture and traditions that the poet relates in this poetry. And the theme that holds over here is she wants it that the human beings, how nature is close to us. A tree, we will just say, feel that it is just a tree, but how close it is to her, how nature has been close to her, and she feels that the nature also imbibes in it the feeling of a human. This is something different that Toru wants to bring it through her poetry, that how the nature shares the feelings with human, and that when the nature shares the feelings with human, that lightens up the heart of the poet. And then she continues and she says, even though this tree that I am talking about, the casuarina tree that I'm talking about, it is far, far from her as of now where she is. It is far, far from her, but the memories still are so close to her, and that land that is away from her, the motherland that is away, she's away from, that is still closer to her, and it talks to her and it soothes her spirit. We will talk about few symbols that have been used, and the tree that has been used over here is being identified um, as a matter and manner. So matter is the tree, the manner is the feelings that it conveys. So this is one, the tree that the symbolic attribute of the tree that is being portrayed by the poetess. And then we come back to, it is the tree is being personified. That means the tree is understood to be a person. That means even though we will think it to be an abstract, even though we know that the tree cannot talk when we are talking back, but for the poetess the tree talks back, and she imagines the tree to be something like a human who interacts with her occasionally, and that makes the difference in her way of in her style of poetry. Okay. Yes, as you carefully see this slide, you will see that there are two parts of the slide. The first part is how nature is close to human and how human is close to the sapling that he holds. We see that there is a small sapling been placed in the human hand. The person holds it even though the mud is dirtying his hand, even though the mud is not so like he has to go and wash his hands and he has to clean himself, but still he opts, and he over and he tries to um, have the closeness uh, of the nature, the nature that is in the soil and the plant that he holds. He's so proud of it when the person holding the sapling in his hand shows. See how well the the boy is holding it in both his hands, and you can see the fingers how they are closing to protect it, to help it to be in its place. So this is where we feel we should feel responsible for. The God has given us nature. God has given us all that is around us. So if we keep it close to us, if we keep it protected like this boy is protecting, we will be a better people. We will be a better lot, a better human beings than just trying to ignore nature and let it grow the way it is growing and be the way it is. But let us be close to nature, and when we are close to nature, everything flourishes. The nature also loves to be loved, and so do we feel blessed when we are near the nature. We are near it. The second picture talks about a tree that has been placed on the globe, and we see that it is the globe is green. That means the tree and the plantation, the vegetation on it is sorry, the vegetation on it is also flowering, and it is also all full in it itself. Why would I had put this picture for you to understand that the caption over here is very catchy. It says that a plant a tree and get oxygen free. what is it that we are living for? What are we living on? We are breathing just because we are getting oxygen. So when the oxygen, that if just planting one tree makes such a difference in our lives, why not start making it a practice? Why not think about planting a tree and making it grow, so that when 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 we need oxygen, the air is good, and it is conducive for us to breathe. Nowadays, if we see that how COVID has affected the the whole vegetation around us, everything is clean. The air that had gone so polluted, we were talking about so much of water pollution, air pollution, industrial pollution. All these were so much of a talk before this COVID, but all has subsided just because the movement has stopped. Just we started becoming little calm in our machine-like work, and therefore, what I want to tell you is that if we and nature also came back to us. There are so many incidences and recorded that animals came back, birds came back, the trees started flourishing, there was the freshness of air was there. So this plant actually makes it, the tree actually makes the plant, the whole atmosphere looks so conducive to live and abide in. So we should be a little careful, and we should be a little aware of our surroundings, and we should not think that it is how it has to be. It is, let it be in its place, then let it be the way it is growing, and I will grow my way. So we have to associate ourselves with nature, then only the things will start happening in the correct way. We move on to the next slide, which reads like this. I have emphasized, if you see the slide, I have emphasized over here that she wrote this poem when she was not in India. And then what we see is this is a classic of Indian English romantic poetry, and its author, poet Toru Dutt, is considered to be one of the makers of hybrid and strongly appropriate traditions of Indian English poetry. So the poetess was away from India, and she has given marks, and even though she was, no, it is known as a hybrid and strongly appropriate traditions. That means she was living somewhere, that is America she was living in, and even though then the Indianness in her poetry is being shown. So it is a hybrid. Hybrid means the putting of the two different things together. So even though her staying in abroad did not affect the feelings of Indian, and that is how she has blended the two together and made a very strong appearance of words, of characters in her poetry. We read just now that she talks about kokilas. Kokilas are not found anywhere anywhere much, but then in India we talk about kokilas here only. We talk about the water lily. We talk about the cow just in the meadows. We talk about baboons. These are all certain things that are very close to India, and that the poetess has brought in her poetry. Then we again read in this slide that it talks about the diasporic writer. She was a diasporic writer, where again it is like this, the same thought, that a diasporic writer is a writer who who goes from her or his native land and goes into another land, and but still remembers to bring in or highlight their own native land in their works. So this is there are so many diasporic writers who have contributed much. Kamla Kamla Das is one. Sorry, Kamla Das is one, and Toru Dutt is another one. We also see some of Arundhati Roy's works also there. So what we feel is that they have felt the land even after when they had gone apart. Then we talk about that she has talked about Bagan, the casuarina tree. She says that it is placed in her Bagan. Bagan is a Hindi word which means mango, and bagan means the orchard. So this casuarina tree that she has identified in the midst of the mango groves, she says that this holds lot of memories to her, and it is like a symbol of life and death. That means she has all her childhood memories revolving around the casuarina tree. She talks about self development and her imaginative faculties. She says that when she was thinking about how um, how what was the impact of that tree on her. She had her imaginative faculties developing in her, and she also analyzed, and she also could understand that she also was having a self development, even though the incident took place in her childhood, but how it has developed in her, and that today when she is as old as she was when she wrote, it still develops her in the field of melody. It creates melody in her. She has a mystical liveliness in those lines that she has written, and uncertain anxieties. So certain things that are associated with feelings, with emotions, those things are being taken into consideration by the poetess, and she brings out a beautiful um, way of presentation and her style of writing that makes it a real enchantment. When we read line after line, we are so enchanted by the feelings that the poetess has for the tree that was there with her. And this is another slide that has two pictures in it. One, you will see that a man stands with an axe, but it is hid from the tree, and the other side you'll see a tree is also facing the man, but what he has is fruits. So isn't it a sad picture? Isn't it a picture that depicts that how how can we do this? How can we um, make such a drastic how can we bring out such a behavior in our lifestyle just for our own vested interest? The second picture also says just for its own vested interest, maybe in the industry, maybe it's self earning, maybe it's just a part of livelihood. So whatever the cause may be, we are only interested on for ourselves. But when the tree, we talk about the tree, what is the tree in return giving? It is giving us fruits, it is giving us something to be healthy, it is giving us something to breathe, it is giving us some shade and shelter, it is giving us so much of it, it is giving us. So why are we not thinking about something that the about only why are we only thinking about ourselves? Are we not responsible for the other things that are around us? Now, this is a critical analysis that talks about how the elements of Casuarina tree have autobiographical and nostalgic and spiritual elements in it. This is from a research paper that has identified the and critically has analyzed. It talks about some great uh, people in literature, and it talks about Keats, it talks about Shelley, and it also talks about Toru. So these three people have contributed that how nature has been so close to them, and what is the impact of the nature on their lives. So we see that in Keats, in Ode to a Nightingale, he talks about it, of a bird that symbolizes the world, art, and beauty. Then we talk about the author wanted to compare P.B. Shelley's to a skylark. The bird is the symbol of freedom and liberty. And here the casuarina tree, Toru Dutt, has identified some two very important characters, and one is the feelings of the human being, that is the life that she has spent with her childhood friends. She still remembers her Abju and Aru. These were the two childhood mates that she had, and she still remembers them, the brother and the sister, and how the tree got it associated with her life through this poetry. So it is something that is autobiographical. That means it is something to do with Toru Dutt's life, inner self, and her childhood experience with the tree. Now we go stanza by stanza. The first stanza says, actually, it takes that it is a tree that is entwined by, or winding, not entwined, but winding around and round. The creeper has intended deep with scars up to the top of the tree. One may also sense a similarity between the tree in the clutches of the creeper and attempting to sap its strength, and the three young Dutts in the grip of a killer disease. And then she says that how these creepers, she has identified a creeper. We know that if something entwines around something, like if on a tree, if there are creepers entwining, and if the and that means it is taking its strength from it also. So what she says is that like the python, when it entwines itself around the tree, it holds, it goes round and round, and it takes its strength from the tree. And because this she says that the young Dutts in the grip of a killer disease, the tuberculosis. So she died of tuberculosis, and that is where she has brought these things, that how the tree has sucked in all this, how the creeper, or the python, when it takes all its strength from the tree, and leaves the tree all in disease. So she has compared that, and then she has brought in the different elements, that are the chirping of the birds, the bees, and how relaxing it is when in that situation where she was, how relaxing it was to hear the birds singing. In the second stanza, she talks about the baboon who is sitting on the top of the branches of the tree, and it is a visual imagery where she brings in that where she says that the baboon is enjoying the sunset, and the other creatures, the other babies of the baboon, are on the other two branches. So she is just trying to pick pictorial imagery, or visual imagery she has brought in, to make the the understanding of the reader to be more imbibed into what exactly happens in a place where the tree is flourishing, but people come and people or the animals like baboon and the trees, they come and take shelter from them. The third stanza says that she says that it is not, but not because of its magnificence. That means it is not because of the tree that it is beautiful, that she is so close to it, or she remembers them. It is not because of that. She only remembers the three happy children who enjoyed their childhood in the presence of the tree, how they surrounded it, encircled it, how they spent hours together planning and talking. So we go back to our own childhood days also. There would be some trees that, or there will be something that we can relate our childhood with. But this poet, the poetess, has remembered this tree, and all her childhood memories are encircled around it. So it is not because the beauty of the tree alone, but it is the beauty of the relationship that she shared with the tree and under the tree. The fourth stanza is highly philosophical. So what is it she observes? She observes unknown yet well known to the eyes of faith. And she says that it is something that is unknown. She doesn't, she knows a part of it, and she has faith on the rest that is coming to her. A man who has the eye of faith can see the unknown and well known. Yoga also says that, and she tries to relate it with yoga, the belief of some that yoga is something that will take them to from the unknown to the known. And because of faith that they have, because of the samadhi or the stage of transcendental stage that they have, they will be able to feel it better. And interestingly, she associates that approach, the poetry, she approaches those thoughts that are in the poetry as for spiritual approach and mystical approach. So these are all from, she could associate these feelings from what you call the epics and the scriptures. So when she goes back to the Upanishads and the Vedas, and she tries to associate her thought in the simple poetry to that, and that is what it makes it mystical and spiritual. Now, at the end of the poem, she absolutely transcends the mortal, materialistic, and mundane frame of mind and attains the power of love to overcome the negative forces of life, like death and darkness, terror and fear. So, the last stanza we see that all that is mortal, that means all that will die, all that is materialistic, all that is that the world offers, all that is the mundane. Mundane means that is all that is something regular. It is nothing exciting, it is mundane, it is sorrowful. All those frame of minds that are negative, she turns it into something that is positive. And she also talks about death, she also talks about darkness, she also talks about fear, and she also talks about terror. These are all negative forces that she has, but then she says that it can be overcome with love. And she says that if we have devotion, if we love, if we go in for something that we are associated and happy with, it will all make everything get away from our lives, and that will make the difference in our life. So that is what the two people that she likes to, Abuj and Arun, Aru, sorry, these are the brothers and sisters that she has spent her life with, and she tries to make that come alive. And it is, she says that a tree in Indian society, the tree is being worshipped, a tree is being given all honor because it gives so much of it. So let us continue with honoring nature and everything that is around us. Now, to sum up, I would like to add on that our Casuarina tree shows a perfect blending of feelings and forms, matter and manner. It contains what Eliot means by his phrase unfied sensibility. It is a combination of both East and West. In form, it is very near to the Romantic and Victorian poems. In theme, it dives deep into the unfathomable ocean of the Vedanta and the Upanishad of body and soul, life and death. Now, this is something that I have designed for you to go through it and see how we need to um, think about this poetry a little different way. We can see certain slides that are coming now. I will be silent. You will be actually seeing this and silently read the verses, and you will be able to learn yourself. So this is the time of self-learning, and you analyze the glossary is there, so you can refer to that glossary and you can make use of it and make it a part of your learning, self-learning. Yes. We talk about three words over here: giant, crimson, and repose. And the literary device that is being used is personification. So now you can identify for yourself which is the sentences that show personification, a person-like behavior. Yes, this is the next slide that is there, and it talks about again three words: the python, the scars, and the gallantry. So these are the words that you need to be seeing, and you should know the meanings of these words. Then only it makes the passage understandable. And the literary device that is being used is simile. Now you identify where the simile is being used. Yes, this also is the slide also talks about certain. See, it is so clear in this picture. There is a kokila, that is a bird, that is a black bird on top of the tree. It takes shelter in the tree, and then we see the water lilies, how they are there in the still water, and we also see a cow there in the picture. And the literary device that is being used is the simile. This is something exciting, isn't it? Exactly what the verse reads. It is there in India. We see this in India. The big baboon, the big monkey, sits on top of the branch, the first branch, experiences everything that is going around, and then the small monkeys, they don't know what is going around them, but they also is with the big monkey, and they experience the same thing that what the monkey is experiencing, and that makes such a nice picture that actually visualizes and helps us to imagine what India is all about. This is the big tree that talks about, and again two words, and they are feign and concentrate. Then we talk about, we can see the tree, how it is. It is the trunk is big, the branches are wide, and it gives shelter to many. It gives shade to many, and the bough of the tree makes the difference of each one's life. This is another picture that we will like to focus on. It has two words, rehearse and obedient. And here they talk about fear, they talk about death, they talk about the obedient curse. But again, these are the negatives that we hear, that we read from here. The poetess tries to overtake it with love and hope. These are the two words, strong words that will take us through in our lives. When there is death, when there is fear, when there's negativity, when there's curses, all these will turn into positives when we try to make our lives full of, when we let the positives come in, the hope of living future, the living our future in goodness and brightness. That is something that we need to hold on. We need not hold on to the negatives, but we hold everything in hope and in love. This is another picture that talks in itself. We don't have to see much in it, but we feel much in it. We see the eyes of these two children. Just observe. Yes, we see how the younger one is looking, all the eyes are bright, and she has hope, she has love in her, she has hope in her. And the next picture, if we see of the elder one, elder sister, we see that she looks at her sibling with so much of love. Can you see that eyes that speak so much of her love and her care? And that is what the poetess was actually missing. She misses the siblings that she had enjoyed under the, with whom she had enjoyed under the tree. I hope you enjoyed that exercise. I hope it refreshed you. It was not mundane. Yes, we learned a new word, mundane. Mundane means something boring, that is not so interesting. So I hope, then that is again I repeat, I hope that those slides that we have just looked into was not mundane. These are some of the questions that I would like you to go with. This is all. These are questions. These are long and short questions that you can deal with to when you are revising for your subject. You can go through this, and it will give you a better glimpse of what we have learned. Now there's a video that I would like you to go through. It is the link is being given to you. Please, when you have time, you please look into this. And this is something exciting. This is something that will give you more understanding of the related understanding of the subject. So I have given you this. You need to watch, and you need to have a better insight of what is being taught. Now, these are two references, two links that I have given. One is for the research articles, two research articles that have been done by people on Casuarina tree, TORU Dutt's Casuarina tree, and please refer to these. There are other two references that I have given for videos that you can watch that are related to this, and after talking to you on this, it'll definitely make you feel that you have some insight of Toru Dutt's life, and the way that she has expressed, and the manner she has taken up for to explain her Indianness in her poetry. So let us be a difference, let us make a difference and be a difference, because we have so many excuses. We are not in the land, we don't know this, we don't know that. But exactly what happens is, if we become so close to things that are with around us, we will be sensitive towards us. That is what the poetess actually wanted. We need to be sensitive towards what is around us, and we need to associate with it, so that we know the importance that it holds in our lives. If the tree was just a tree in the Aam Bagan, that would have just been dead and gone and lived its life and gone forever. But then when she holds on to its memories, that makes the difference. And today, when we read it, we feel that how important it is for things that are associated with our childhood, how things were associated with us, and how important it is for us to know that everything that is around us makes a difference to us, and we should hold on to the beauty of what we have. Thank you so much, children. May you have a nice day.